used to be the thing then. So I was selling cases of Blackberries. I was selling fake Beats headphones. I told everyone they were fake Beats. They're very good quality replicas.
Make mistakes about, still making them now. But investing in business that don't make money. I think that's a learning curve.
Yeah.
The franchise that you purchased at the time. But on the accounting side of things, if you could do something different now, looking back, what would that be? Probably heard of that great philosopher, Curtis Jackson, known as 50 Cent, who said you should always hire someone that's more clever than you.
That's true.
I agree with it.
That is true. Yeah, because if you're the smartest man in the room, then you're not going to progress.
You're the bottleneck. Then.
Yeah. If next year you make $100,000 a month, £1 million a year, let's just say, and you're able to take that home now, £1 million take home. You've paid all the taxes, How much better would your life be? Or how much better would your life be in the UK with your kids? You're still going to have the same thing in the sense that your kids are going to go to school from 9 till 5. By the time they come back, it's probably going to be dark. You're still going to have that issues of safety, security. You're still going to have... you're still not going to have what you have in terms of a lifestyle here.
Not going to lie.
You can have a G-Wagon here, Someone else has got a Brabus. Someone's got a Mansouri. Someone's got a gold plate. Someone's got a number plate that's one digit. Bro, it's just never ending. You can't compete. You can't compete here.
No one cares.
No one cares about it. That's the thing.
Welcome to Karak with Kully, the podcast that serves up strong conversations with real entrepreneurs, founders, and creators. I'm your host, Kully Sahota, and every week we brew up honest talk, the kind that hits hard and keeps it real. No filters, just stories, lessons, and a whole lot of Karak.
Welcome to another episode of Karak with Kully, and today we've got Huzefa from Evolve Tax. Huzefa, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
I'm a bit disappointed though because you were my first guest on Evolve and Inspire, and I'm like your fifth or... How many episodes have you done now?
How many episodes have I done? Probably about 20. No, I don't. The reason was you was not in the UK.
So that's a good enough excuse.
I've come especially to come and see you here to Dubai. So thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to my country.
Yeah, cheers. It's very good. So I introduced you as Huzefa from Evolve Tax, and a bit disappointed to not say Huzefa from Tax Assist. So we'll start at the beginning. So how we met, and then we'll go through your journey from moving over to Dubai, and we'll see where the pod takes us. Hopefully not in angles that we don't want it to go. So talk to me about your journey into accounts and tax firstly, of when you started, because I know you started at a very young age before myself. Why did you want to go into accounts and tax?
See, this is quite interesting. So my mum's dad was actually an accountant in India,
This I didn't know this.
Yeah. So he was actually an accountant, and he came to the UK in 2002, and I was probably 8 at the time. And I still remember quite clearly, he came to pick me up from school one day, and my mum was there, and he asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I'll be an accountant. I didn't really know what kind of... I was just good at maths. I was all right at maths at that age. But then I think the biggest... The point where I actually decided that this is the journey I'm going to go through and this is what I'm going to do was probably when I was about 16, 17. So I went Islamic school from year 9 onwards. So obviously I did my Islamic studies, memorized the Quran off by heart. And I kind of had a bit of mental fatigue when I went into sixth form. And I didn't want to do any more exams. I didn't want to study or anything like that. Not completely not study, but I wanted to get into the real world. So when I was in college, I started selling things, and it was
Drugs.
just... I'm from Aston, but I never got into that crowd. But yeah, it's just random things. Like I was in college and I was selling... Blackberries used to be the thing then. So I was selling cases of Blackberries. I was selling fake Beats headphones. I told everyone they were fake Beats. They're very good quality replicas. But I used to get these boxes from China, and I used to sell them. I used to get them for like £3-4 a piece. I used to sell them at £30. It came with the packaging and everything.
Mate, you've always been into a slinger from day one.
Yeah. And then I bought the first thing I did was I bought a whole lot on eBay. I went on a job lot and got iPhone. I think it was iPhone 4 or 5 them days. I got bumper cases for them, and I got a job lot and I just relisted them as individual ones on eBay. And then I used to teach at mosque then, so I used to After sixth form, I'd go to the post office, drop off all my orders, and then I'll go to mosque and teach at mosque. And then at AS level, I did quite well, to be fair. I did 4 subjects. I did accountancy.
Just before you go into the accounting side of things,
Yeah.
now, we'll come back to that. But for someone who's like 15, 16 years old to be that business orientated, where did that come from?
See, it's interesting because I'd say
Everyone, even now, like people have that. I know people,
Yeah.
30, 40 years old, and I want to start a business, buy supply and demand, and they don't do it. You actually went at that age to do it and done it.
I think I was saying this to my wife the other day. I think I'm a kind of person that if I say I'm going to do something, I end up doing it, whether it's a detriment to me or not. I'd take risks and just, whatever the outcome is, the outcome is. And I think part of it was my parents as well, because my parents were very risk averse generally. But having said that, when I was growing up, my parents had a parcel business. So what they used to do, they were like they were a distributor. So there was someone from Bolton, and what they'd do is we would collect from Birmingham, Wellingborough, Northampton, collect parcels. And then I think them days it was like £3 a kg. So it was £3 a kg. You'd go to these people's houses with a scale, you'd weigh their parcel, you bring it back to our house, and you'd see our dining room and our shed. Eventually we made our shed just be full of parcels, and then the supplier would come, pick all the parcels up, and then send it by sea. So we used to charge like £3 a kg, and then I think the supplier would take £2 or whatever. And at that time, I was growing up and I had to do the Excel spreadsheets for it. So we used to put like with a permanent marker, put a number on the parcel, and then I had to fill out, this is the person it's from, this is the address it's going to, this is how much kg it was, this is how much it cost.
If only you had ChatGPT then.
But at the same time, when I did them kind of things, I got rewarded. So I wasn't able to go get football boots or anything like that. We come from a very working class family. I'm going to give you a story now. My first ever football top was an Everton football top. And a lot of people will know that my nickname is Ronnie. And the reason why my nickname is Ronnie is because we weren't really afforded them luxuries of having football tops and things like that. So someone gifted it to me. And I used to go to school and we used to have Match magazine. And Wayne Rooney just came onto the scene at that time. So with a marker, I wrote Rooney number 18 at the back. He went into the washing machine, it came off. Now the next time, instead of writing R-O-O-N-E-Y, I wrote R-O-N-N-E-Y and number 18. And then from that day, my nickname was Ronnie from there.
People still call you that now? That's
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It stuck with you for that long?
It stuck with me for that long. And that I'd say was probably about 2004-ish, from around that time. So Rooney went to the Euros in 2004. But yeah, and even like for football boots, so I remember the first time I tried like buying a pair of football boots, I went car boot sale. So when my granddad was alive, we used to have this thing every Saturday evening. I'd go stay at my grandparents' house, and then my granddad used to teach. He never used to drive or anything, but one of his students used to take us to car boot sale, and we used to go to car boot sale in Studley. And one day I went there and I picked up Adidas Predators, and I was like, this is, I think it was £1 or £2. Picked up the pair of trainers, and on my way. My dad come to pick us up that day, so I'm in the back of the car. It's a Rover 25, I think. And I'm trying to put the trainers on. One trainer's got in, my other foot wouldn't get in, and I'm forcing it. And what we've realised is it's 2 different sizes. And I'm there forcing
That's
it.
so disappointing.
I was devastated. And my dad was like, oh, don't worry, we'll buy you some, whatever. And in my head, I was thinking, these are Adidas, man. You're going to take me Sports Direct or Sports World or JJB, and you're going to buy me Diodoras. Don't get me wrong, Diodoras now, looking back at it, they were sick, man. Roy Keane used to wear them. But I was like, oh, man, these are Adidas. But yeah, and then when we had this parcel business, every time we used to, like, if I wanted something and I did it, after the Excel spreadsheet's done and they come collect it, I'd be able to get new football boots or something like that. So it's almost like I had to work for it from a young age.
You knew the value of money then quite young, that is effort and reward equals a monetary value for something you to achieve. Nothing's going to be given to you.
Yeah.
That's really interesting that young that you learned that lesson. And so you've done the business side, you started your first business, and then you're saying after you still helping the parents with the family business at the time.
So we stopped that. I think that we stopped that business quite probably 2000 and I'd like to say 2008, 2009, around that time probably.
So before you went to college?
Before.
Okay.
Quite a few years before we went to college. So at college I did accountancy, business studies, law, and psychology. And out of the 4 subjects, I enjoyed psychology the most. I had a teacher, Miss Smith, and she was really good, and we got on really well. I got on really well with all my teachers, to be honest with you. It was funny because I used to kind of be a class clown, but when it came to exams and studying, I would put my head down and study. I would go do revision on my own. So I still remember after my January exams, the people that I would be with, if I'm messing around, they would get told off because it'd be like, oh, he's going to go and study, but you lot aren't.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Stop distracting
yeah, basically. And I remember when we're coming towards the end of that year, and there was like a bit of talks of apprenticeships, and my brother had gone through an apprenticeship route, but not in accounting. He went in as a gas engineer initially, and I wanted to go into an apprenticeship, and then it was all about this accountancy apprenticeship. You know, you do your AAT and things like that. So I had to kind of sell it to my mum because my mum really wanted us to both to go to university. My brother didn't go. I'm not going, and she was just like, but I'm like, oh look, you know, part of it, once you finish, you've got a year, like a foundation of your degree or whatever, and then you can do your papers and all that. And she kind of eventually was on board. My dad was completely the opposite. My dad was like, you're at that age now, you make your decisions, whatever, you make your bed, you lie in it, kind of thing, in that sense. So I still remember my business studies teacher and my psychology teacher, they were having like a bit of a debate when I was leaving. My psychology teacher was like, oh, he needs to finish his second year of A-levels and then he can go. And my business studies teacher was like, nah, he'll be all right in the real world or whatnot, man. Just let him go. He'll be fine, whatever. And yeah, so then it took me to my first employment. My first employment was in the accounting industry, was Sigma Chartered Accountants, a guy called Jawed Yaqub. And for me, that was the best experience I've had in my life, because normally when I looked at my peers at that time, they'd get a job, they'd be like a credit controller or a purchase ledger clerk or something like that. I was in practice and I was learning, and
it's real life experience. You see business in real hand, whereas the job that you mentioned, I assume like purchase ledger, credit. Normally when people go into a job, they're staying there forever doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd ever be able to do that. Yeah. Like even when I first joined the accounting practice, and it was a very young practice, generally the people we had principal, but then everyone else was like either come out of university or like an apprentice basically. It was a small team, 4 or 5 of us, and there was a lot of staff turnover at that time as well. But I remember the first so long I was doing bank analysis. Now obviously we've got Dext and we've got software and that. There you had to get the get a spreadsheet up, get the bank statements, tick it and type every single one into Excel. And in the first month or so, I hated it. I did hate it. I was like, you know what? I'm just sitting there data entering. And then I was given the payroll, and payroll obviously was a bit different then.
RTI was coming in.
It was coming in the next year. So the first year I did payroll was without RTI, and you do the pay slip, send it to them. For some people, you'd have to file nil returns every quarter. For the other people, you're not filing anything, but you're telling them this is the tax you have to pay. At the end of the year, you do your P32, and then you know whatever difference is, you squash it at that particular moment in time. And I was then given this task of RTIs coming in. You need to research and show what we have to do, whatever. And alongside that, after January, a few people that were a bit more senior left, and then I was given this one charity to do set of accounts for. Bear in mind, at this point, I'm at apprentice wage, £2.65 an hour. My bus pass is costing me £55 a month. It's not even full money anymore. I've got a business on the side selling vapes. I was like the first ever to try to sell vapes, And I'm like, but my accountancy is going to be my bread and butter. So, so I've got these charity accounts. I've done these charity set of accounts. I've had the meeting with them. And it was like very small charity and that. And at that point, I felt like, yo, I'm an accountant now. Like, I've done a set of accounts all the way throughout, like a bank analysis, the working papers. And then we used to Digita. I put it into Digita as well. And I'm like, yeah, this is. And then going about 8 or 9 months later, I did that typical thing. So I finished AAT and I did that typical thing of, you know what? I'm doing a tax return here. It's taking me an hour. They're probably charging £150, £200. I can do about 5 of these a day and make £1,000 a day easy. Although it's not like that. And so I decided to set up on my own.
What, just after 8-9 months of doing?
I think I was in practice for about 2 years at that time. But 8-9 months after I was like doing accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. And I set up on my own.
Was you AAT qualified then?
Yeah, I was AAT qualified then. And I just set up on my own, and I still remember got my branding done, got a website done, got some business cards done, and I felt like I was the guy. And then obviously they used to this place locally we used to go to called Starbites. And we used to chill in there. And if you come out of Starbites, upstairs there was a taxi rank. So one day I've gone up these stairs at the back of the thing, knocked on the door. This guy opens. He goes, how can I help you? And I'm just there like, oh, do you want your tax return doing? And he's like, I do my tax return by this person. I was like, yeah, look, I'll do it for you, 80 quid. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'll do it for you, 80 quid. I go, just send me the details, I'll do it for you. And then I got my first tax calc license at that time.
That's still mad that you went like just like knocked on someone's door. Like how many guys would do that really?
Yeah.
That know?
And I was like 19 at the time, 18, 19. And then
if you don't ask, you don't get.
That's it. You don't ask, you don't get. So I did his tax return, and then I got like a serviced office in Victoria Square, and then I actually ended up getting leads on a monthly basis, and then try converting them. But my biggest issue was I was young, I was naive. I thought I made it in life because at that time I invested in a couple of other businesses as well. It was a franchise that wasn't successful. It was like a digital marketing franchise, waste of money. I had a lounge that I'm not proud of anymore, but I had a lounge that didn't really make much money either. And yeah, I had an A-class Mercedes at the time, and I thought I made it in life. Now I've got an office, I've got a business, and that.
But not many young lads at 18, 19 would be able to say that, or they probably a lot can say it because they've got their mum and dad's money.
Yeah.
It's someone that doing it themselves. You know, you've got say a car, you've got some freedom. Not many people even at our age now have got that.
Yeah.
So to feel even that you've achieved something at that age is like amazing. Yeah. If you could do something different then, not saying that you spread yourself too thin with all the business ventures. Of course we make mistakes about, still making them now. Investing in business that don't make money. I think that's a learning curve, the franchise that you purchased at the time. But on the accounting side of things, if you could do something different now looking back, what would that be?
I think marketing. That's one of the main things. Look, we have this conversation all the time. You can have a business that seems perfect and, you're providing a service or you're doing whatever you're doing. But if people, you might know about it, people in your circle, people in your family might know about it. But if a lot of people don't know about it, then you're not going to be successful, or, you're not going to be able to get the clients that you want, and you're not going to be able to make that money that you want. So marketing is definitely one thing. But the other thing is, I don't think I worked hard enough. I think it got to me that I thought I made it. And I don't think I grafted as much as I should have grafted.
You don't seem like, it's like I've known you for this long. And I never have you down as a person like a ego person, or look at me. And I suppose you was young then.
I was young. I don't think it was a look at me or anything like that. It was just a case of like, I've made it. Like I've got.
Took your foot off the gas a bit.
Yeah. I thought I've got a business now, and that's it.
That's the easy bit.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a business now, and that's what I thought. I think. I looking back at it now, I had an office in Jewelry Quarter. I didn't really need that office. I had an office that went over 2 floors, and don't get me wrong, the rent wasn't like extortion or nothing. But look, I could have worked from home. I should have worked from home. That would have saved me 5-6 grand a year, and then bills or whatever and things like that. So. Yeah, looking back at it now, it's hindsight's a wonderful thing.
So when did you? I know you've still got a few clients from that business, but when did you decide, look, this is not my full time, but I'm going to go with this?
Yeah. So it was late 2016. So late 2016, my dad's brother passed away in India, and then I used to live with my grandma, and after that, my grandma was just never the same person because she's obviously lost a son. I had closure. Stopped eating, and then at that point I decided that look, I'm gonna work from home. No, I actually did a short stint contracting for about a month, 6 weeks. I did a month to 6 weeks for a busy period in January for a firm locally, and then I decided like I'm gonna stay at home for my grandma. Make a breakfast and just be there for a kind of thing, because my grandma moved into my parents' house for about 4 weeks, but she wanted to go back to her own house. And then it was just a case of like at that time it was just. Allah put it in a way that I was not working. I was spending my time with my grandma. My grandma was in hospital, and then my grandma passed away, and then I started like kind of applying for jobs again. And then I came across a contracting opportunity in Bicester, and I used to work on Digita in Sigma. So they wanted someone specifically for Digita because they've moved over to Digita. So I got that, and it was a good day rate, but I hated my job. I absolutely hated it.
Traveling there every single day.
You see, the traveling wasn't bad. I think for that point in my life of what I was going through, the travel was good for me. It gave me time to myself. It gave me a little
Zone out
purpose.
a bit.
Yeah. But when I went there, and now obviously you see me, I used to go there to work, like literally. And you know that me, I'm a kind of person that I will take lunch whatever time. I'll have lunch on my desk if I have to. Like normally I would have lunch on my desk, whatever. But there I was like, mate,
You have lunch on the way to work in your car.
exactly. But there it was like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going out for lunch, and I will be back at 2 o'clock pronto.
Proper corporate.
Yeah, proper corporate. And I hated it, man. Like the people I worked with, the environment, it just wasn't me.
It's like when they ask you like, how's your weekend been?
Like, bro, don't ask me that, man.
Thanks.
Like, if I really tell you how my weekend's been, I don't know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
But it was like one of them. And look, it's people that are a bit older or whatever, and there was no like soul to the place, if you know what I mean. And it was very different from where I grew up in. Vista's very posh, whereas me, I'm grown up in the ghetto basically. It's just two different worlds, and it just didn't suit me.
Do you think that you didn't fit in from that
Oh yeah.
professional? I wouldn't say professional level because that's probably difficult to say. But
Yeah.
even to like you said, like when we speak the language, and to what you're having to lunch and the conversations that are going on in the office. Never mind just the work culture. It's like all the other bits and pieces that you felt that you didn't fit in.
It was like I was probably one of the youngest guys there. There was someone did come in after me that was younger than me. That was a bit just there temporarily. He was all right, but it was just like it weren't our kind of office. Everyone was a bit older. They had different interests. Politically, they were mad different. I think was it David Cameron's constituency? I think it is. I think it was. But yeah, it's just very different, man. It's not what we're used to.
You didn't from you knew from a short time that you was there that
Yeah, just
you're
for
not
money.
you're not gonna be there for a long time.
Yeah. It was just there. I was just there. I'm earning good money, and I'll do it for a while and see where I kind of go from there after that. And then,
Did you move back in with your parents then because you were living at your grandma's and then
yeah, I moved back in my parents.
was that difficult for you for having?
No, I don't think it was difficult. It was quite seamless, to be honest with you. At the time, I probably did think that I wanted to stay at my grandma's, but it probably wasn't the right decision.
Yeah.
It was just normal. Like it was me, my mum and dad there. It was cool. And I had a good social life, linking the boys every single day, kind of thing. At that time, at that age, you do that. And then fast forward to November 2017, I started applying for some jobs. There was some in what's that firm around Bromsgrove and that? Not Haynes Watts, one of them.
Maybe it is.
Well, one of them kind of top 40 firms, but they were kind of giving jobs that were like very predominantly just personal tax. That's it. So you're going to be a personal tax specialist or this, whatever. And me, I had my experience that was rounded, and I didn't really want to go into just doing tax returns every single day. And then someone slid into my DMs on LinkedIn.
I wonder who that is.
And he gave me an interview. And we had
what did I say to you? I can't on LinkedIn.
I can't even remember,
I think this guy, he's got like blue eyes and that. I said he's got blue eyes, and then like he put something about football on there. I thought, he's from Birmingham. I said, let's message him.
And then I had that first interview with you, and I still remember it. All we talked about was football.
It was like after work,
It was after work, It was after 5:30.
Must have come straight from.
I came from Bicester, yeah. And then I had another interview somewhere, a healthcare place on Hagley Road.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a healthcare place. They wanted to do like just doctors' tax returns and that. And then I flew out to Dubai, I flew out. And then you kind of left me in the lurch for a bit.
Did I message you when you was here? Or you said you said you was here?
Yeah. I told you I was going tomorrow or something like that, And then, you left me in a lurch for a bit because you then replied saying that I've hired someone else for now, someone a bit less senior. I was like, okay, cool. And then it was around, the end of the year, and I was actually hating it at that particular moment in time. I think winter I hated it a bit more. Summer was all right.
So I knew. I thought let him hate it a bit more.
And then And then you emailed me on the 6th of January, 2018. And you said to me, can you do this? And I replied to you saying, yeah, mate, I've done loads of this.
Yeah. I was like, have you done
Tax returns.
Tax returns. He goes, yeah, I've done 500 of them. It's like, I was like, all right, that's fine.
And then you called me for a second interview. And then after that, you said to me, you go, I need to run this past Tax Assist. And I'm obviously now I know you don't have to run nothing past Tax Assist, mate. So I don't know why you're trying to do that power play. I have to run this past Tax Assist.
So you make it feel like a bigger firm than
it is.
we were at the time. But yeah, so when I hired you, I was just like, be honest with you, couldn't afford anyone qualified. And I was working with trainees, apprentices myself. I had not worked in practice.
Yeah.
And so, but I was not as brave as you to just do something myself. I lent on a franchise, put taxes license. I was married, and I think I'd moved out by then, so I had expenses as well. So at that time, it's a massive risk for me, and I couldn't afford anyone qualified. So it's very hard for me to find someone. For me at that time, it was more someone that I could get on with and work with. I knew the qualifications because we weren't doing really high level work here.
Yeah.
And so I was getting people from university and like training them up as much as I knew about accounts and payroll and my process of how to do VAT. And then you came in, you was like probably my first person that had worked in another proper practice.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can get on with this guy. And then I felt like, I think he came to work on the first day you ever came on time. then after that, it was all downhill.
I think I came in a suit then as well,
I think you did. I think you did, yeah.
We were wearing suits then. Oh, mate, proper corporate man suits. But yeah, look, after that, it was just, obviously, 7 years was just madness and absolute madness. Like
it was 7 years we worked together, but it didn't feel that long. Or even when you say to me like, "Oh, it's Kully, it's been like it's my anniversary for this many years." Yeah, it was like I didn't even know time was going that quick. You seen put so many systems in place for the business. You seen people come and go, and the main thing that what I think we built in that organisation, which helped with my success, is that we tried to build a team that was more culturally how we wanted to be. And so we don't have that Monday morning feeling of coming to work. And you only can achieve that if someone's on your same level and you like working with them.
100%. I think like now building a team as well, it's difficult, man. And we're having these conversations all the time about staff and things like that. And it's hard because you're trying to find people. You think you're a good judge of character. Sometimes it might not work out to be that way. And it's just like, okay, now we're a bit 2 steps back, have to go again. And it's difficult. And to be fair, like we had a core at Tax Assist for a long time. Mm-hmm. For a long time we had a core. And that was quite important. And you see, and like people have been there for years. Like, Jack's been there how many years now? Mm-hmm. I was there 7 years. And sometimes people do come and go, but that's life.
Other members of staff have been there quite a while. I think you need that stability to... If you're going to grow and do different things, you need to make sure you've got your core staff that are there and they're, don't need to be there like, forever, but help you grow to a certain level for stability. And then you can bolt other things areas on. So, what were your roles and responsibilities that when I gave you that job at Tax Assist, I've never really asked you this. What did you think that you was coming in to do, and did it meet your expectations of what I'd sold you the dream, or you made you leave, or dangle this carrot for you to leave from this a well-paid job in Bicester to come and work for me, and then you tell me. I've never known that.
So you know what it is. First things first, I've got to address the fans, and address your thing. Yeah. He told me the job is 24 to 30k, and he only gave me 25. I just saw this recently, bro. But look, I think
that's good from my perspective.
But I think at the beginning when I first came, I think we just got on. The first 2 interviews, we got on, and I thought this is someone that I could work with and I could work for. Look, for me, I had my experience, and I quickly realized that when I came on board with you, you were very receptive to my ideas and my way of working and how I would run a practice. And it's almost like I was a practice owner whilst not being a practice owner with you in that sense. Don't get me wrong, there's certain things that you might have said no to or whatever, but there was a lot of things that you took on board and we did together. And for me, it was just a case of, it was a bit different because I wasn't really producing set of accounts or anything like that. I was more doing sales and things like that, and managing the practice, putting processes in place. I still remember we bought them binders, the ones with the spring. We got rid of those recently, but we bought them binders, and we were constantly trying to evolve tax. We were constantly trying to evolve, and I think that's for any business. Like, I've had Evolve Tax now for 12 months or 13, 14 months now. And when I started it last year and I was putting certain things in place, I put them in place, but I've had to change as well. I've had to shift because software's a rabbit hole. I could have 15, 20 different softwares I would look at. But my idea is for my staff, I can do 15, 20 softwares, but can my staff do 15, 20 softwares? I need to have something that, has one software that does a bulk of things to a good level, and then add on different softwares. But again, when I joined you, it was a case of, we went from paper filing to, okay, let's look at this accountancy manager. Let's see how we can, you were using CCH at that time, and I absolutely hated CCH.
I hated it as well.
It was horrible. And I was so glad that we moved to tax out, but it was like, how can we,
streamline every process?
Because ultimately we want to have businesses, and we keep talking about this, that operate and that are automated and make us do the least amount of work possible.
The main thing that I enjoyed when you came in was having those high level conversations with someone about, from my own sanity, that made me start enjoying work again, because before I was telling people what to do all the time. There's no coming back to me. Either I was too scared, they didn't have the knowledge of communication. When it was you, I used to enjoy, you used to come to me, like I said, sometimes you said no, but I used to enjoy having that conversation. So this guy is actually trying to think about 2 steps ahead, how we can always improve things, what's out there, and just to have those high level strategic conversations, it made my mind stimulated as well, more to always improving every day. We're trying to do something different, put a new person, put a new system in, and I really enjoyed work at those growing stages. I mean, we had a lot of growing pains, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot more clients coming in then, setting up like the KPIs that we used to do on a monthly basis.
See, that's mad, because obviously we do KPIs now, but we never really used to do KPIs. I remember I used to have my sales spreadsheet, and I'm not really a salesperson, but I used to give myself a target every month of like 10K. And I remember that one month we did 25K. And it was just like, for me, like, it's not even my business.
Then I was like, wow.
For me, it's like, it gave me something. It gave me like, and don't get me wrong, if I had a month that I didn't do 10K, I wouldn't be like overly disappointed, I haven't hit 10K or whatever, because I know it fluctuates and you have busy periods and whatever, but it gave me something like, I want to get there. Then when you did KPIs, it was like, I need to make sure I'm better than everyone else now.
It's a bit of banter between the business, and for me it's a good metric, but I made it fun at the same time. So, and it was, the whole point of that was to bring the team closer together, not rival them, I'm better than him. It's for everyone to bounce off each other, and you kind of achieve that.
And the thing is, when you look at your KPIs, you had, let's just say, 3-4 members of staff, and you're doing KPIs. But in them KPIs, there was something specific to everyone. So sales would be specific to me. So I know that these people are going to compete, but not going to compete as much, because I'm going to take most meetings. But then software consultations will be specific to someone else. Reviews will be specific to everyone, but more so someone that does that kind of work, like tax returns or something
referrals, reviews,
and referrals and things like that. So it was quite genius in that sense. And then when you did the 3Ds, Dublin, Dam and Dubai, that was just like a case of like, yo, we have to hit this now. We have to keep going. We have to hit this.
I regret that now.
But going back to it, you know what? It's actually a good point you made, because I had a conversation with someone, Eamon from Scope, and he said something very interesting to me that stuck with me, is that you want to have staff that actually challenge you. And I think that is that's bang on the money, because otherwise you're going to have this tunnel vision of thinking. You're going to do everything a specific way, and you're going to keep doing that same way. But if you've got staff that you can, sometimes ask advice from, sometimes run through something with them, and empower them. Like Kizza's here now, and Kizza's come in as a social media person for me, but at the same time, I'm having kind of high level operational chats with him because we can have it, and he gives me them ideas, or sometimes when I'm wrong, he'll tell me that I'm wrong, and it's good to have that reality check at times.
You've probably heard of that great philosopher, Curtis Jackson, known as 50 Cent, who said you should always hire someone that's more clever than you.
That's true.
I agree with it.
It's that is true. Yeah, because if you're the smartest man in the room, then you're not going to progress.
You're the bottleneck. Then.
Yeah, you're the bottleneck.
Business is only going how your capacity is, how much your capacity is. That's it.
So we need to hire clever people. Sorry, Kizza, mate. Sorry, mate.
So, okay, well, the journey from taxis, helped me grew the practice. You was the office manager as such in that period. On the side of that, I knew from the beginning that you was a free spirit. You didn't really want to go into studying CTA or getting your ACCA qualification.
Yeah, I did catfish at the beginning.
I know, yeah. So
I did. I actually paid for the courses as well, and I was like, I'm doing the ATT to CTA pathway.
Okay.
I'm gonna be CTA, whatever. But yeah, never gonna happen.
And that's fine. But your on-the-job experience was more valuable that, and you had a handful of clients still that you still manage yourself. And you had when I met you at that stage, you had another business, which was Skipper.
Yeah, so no, I actually started Skipper when we were together. It happened in COVID, so obviously I was involved in football. I was coaching. First I coached Wolves Sporting in non-league. Then I went to Huzefa St. John's. Then I went to Romulus. And then my last club was Studley before I came here. So it was actually COVID happened and we were bored. And like our brains are always active and we were still working. But at the same time, we had a lot of hours that were kind of free that we couldn't do any social thing. And as you do, I was thinking about it and I was like, before that, actually, you're right. I actually started Skipper before originally.
Yeah.
The clothing range. And don't get me wrong, that was an absolute failure. Again, no marketing, nothing like that. Expected people to buy my products without knowing about it. There's a whole bunch of people in Gambia that are wearing the tracksuits now, yeah? I still get pictures, I got friends that do charity work there and they just send me pictures of people in Skipper outfits and it makes me happy. But at that time then in COVID, I thought to myself, you know what? There's actually a gap in the market here. And the gap in the market is that I look at non-league teams and non-league teams are driven by volunteers, people that are giving their time, they have paying budgets, they have expenses, things are going through the roof, etc. What's the one thing I can kind of help with? And I thought to myself, the thing I can help with, if I look at Nike kits, Adidas kits or whatnot, they're extortionate, they're expensive, and they're just going up and up. So the one thing I can kind of help with here is by doing football kits, by doing tracksuits, and accessories to an extent, footballs, etc. So
I thought he was going to say you bought from the supplier that sent you that Everton shirt.
So then the Skipper story is quite interesting. So it was May 2020. And one of my weaknesses is that I'm headstrong and I'm quite trusting. And when I'm headstrong, I want things done quickly. So I've done like a bit of research into suppliers or whatnot. And I've looked at the tags and I thought, okay, I can get a supplier from here. And my first initial supplier I actually lost $5,000 on because the stock was dud, the sizing wasn't good, the material wasn't good, and everything was dud and you couldn't really recover that money. But after that, what I decided, actually, no, I found another supplier. And that supplier I was actually speaking to at the same time as the first supplier, but I thought it was a bit more expensive. And I went for the price thing. And when of course I ordered samples or whatnot, and the samples were good, but the product itself wasn't good. But one thing I always try to maintain is honesty and integrity. So even though these clubs, the business model was perfect, the business model was literally, you tell me what you want. I
think the business model was genius.
Yeah. You tell me what you want, the design. I'll send you a mock-up. You're happy with that, I'll give you a quote. You pay for it. And then between 3 and 5 weeks, you'll get your delivery. Now, obviously, the first stock that came, it was a bit delayed. And the people that were waiting for it, it was just not good stock. And literally, I just gave him a refund. And I said to him, listen, just put it to your local charity or whatever. Do whatever you want to do with it. But I'll give you a refund and whatnot. and it was a bit back to the kind of drawing board. So I've contacted the other supplier now, and I've started a relationship with him. And it's mad because over the course of them years, I became so close to that supplier because it was almost like family, and it became like family. Like, obviously, I went to Pakistan that one year to see them, and they were so hospitable, and you know, they were just fantastic. I was only there like 3-4 days. They didn't let me spend a penny, like literally. And then I came to Dubai, and then I got married that year. They actually came to Dubai for my wedding.
What, you got married?
They came to Dubai for my wedding, and then at the end of that year, they came to the UK, and always like giving loads of gifts and things like that. And it became a relationship that even if I ever wanted to stop that business because it was taking too much time or whatever, I couldn't, because I'm feeding some mouths here really, and they
You thought you had some responsibility.
yeah. So Skipper then developed. The first couple of years, he kind of made losses because it was all about advertising. What better way to advertise than have your kits, people literally wearing your kits everywhere? So I'm going to come into the market and I'm going to be cheaper than everyone else. I might not make money out of it, but, you know, slowly I can put my prices up because people will see the quality and people will see that it's actually worth that much. So at the beginning, my tracksuits were like £15 to £18. In the end of it, it's like £28 now, or 28 to £30. But they're worth it because it's the same material as Adidas, and they're charging £50, £60. And this, you're getting it at half the price, basically.
And you can design it how you want it.
Exactly, and it's bespoke as well. So I still remember the thing that you said to me is that everyone sees what you do to... your 9 to 5 pay your bills, your 5 to 9 funds your lifestyle. And it was literally that. It was doing private work on the side, doing Skipper on the side, coaching, obviously just doing it for the love of the game, really.
Yeah, I used to see you, you know, when I used to be leaving work myself, and you used to still be there getting your orders out, doing your prepping your orders, and people coming to collect stock for you, waiting for them after work, and so people think it's easy, but you know, getting the business off the ground is still
it's difficult.
You said it took you a good 2-3 years to get it off the ground.
Yeah. But I was in a very fortunate position, and that's why I say money makes money more often than not, because you can ride through it. I didn't need an income from Skipper. I could ride through it for the first year. I could ride through it to the second year. I still had my job. I still had my private work. I was sufficient in that sense. So it was just a case of let's get it off the ground and then make it profitable. So in the end, it became very profitable, and it was a very good business. And then I ended up moving here, and that's when I sold my first business. So I ended up selling it, and I was selling the majority stake of it. And the new owners are quite enjoying it. They're doing pretty well. And I just wanted to keep that legacy going because I worked hard for it. I wanted to hand it over to someone that I knew would be able to take it to another level that I didn't have time to take it to.
I thought you was mad. You had conversations with me when you was moving here, and you said, you know, Kully, I'm going to sell it. And I was saying to you, nah, bro, don't sell it. I said, I'll invest with you, but it's not that easy. It's just you didn't need the money. You know, you need someone to actually be hands-on, and someone, like you said, take it to the next level. It's your baby, and you're like, you know, don't want someone to come take over. Actually take it and then do something with it. Yeah. And so I feel like, you know, I can see the reason why you sold it. But me personally, I still would have not sold it because I thought you enjoyed what you was doing there.
Yeah, you know,
because it intertwined with your hobby.
It did, yeah. It intertwined with my hobby, and me, I'm not a creative person. Well, I always thought I'm not a creative person.
Creative accountant.
Definitely a creative accountant. But I think Skipper actually brought my creativity out because I used to do mock-ups myself. I ended up learning how to do it myself, and some of the things I still wear I've made designs of things to wear around the house basically, and they're just mad designs, and they look nice, and it's just very comfortable. But I think at that time, obviously, I think it was around February I sold it this year, and we were umming and ahhing, and my wife was like, "Oh, don't sell it, whatever." And part of me was like, "Do I give it to my missus to run, you know, and my nephew can carry on with the distribution in the UK, or, you know, how do we do it?" But then at the same time, I thought, no, I think it's time for me. I just don't want. I don't want it consuming any more time. I've got a new business now. I need to kind of get that off the ground. And then it was around February, March where my wife actually said to me, "You know what? you're so busy doing everything else now with Evolve Tax that it's a good thing you did what you did and you sold it at that time. And I was like, yeah, it was hard to sell, but it was something that I thought was right.
Can't do everything.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you can't do everything.
Yeah.
If it's hands-on and if he has time and things, it's like someone came, and I think we're at that position now. We're trying to aspire it that you can have a business, but at the same time, you don't want a business that's a glorified job where you're still restricted. Like you could now come here for 4 days, yeah, without having to plan it 2, 3, 4 months in advance. You can drop, from a business perspective, drop what you're doing and come. And that's a very good position to be in. And I think that's a fortunate position to be in. And I think that's what you get into business for. And ultimately, business is it's a tool for you to give you freedom, because money will come, money will keep coming, but it's about freedom. What do you want that, what's your wine business? And
I was speaking to another podcast, and we're saying that people, I think it's a glorified being a business. I want to be an entrepreneur. Some people are earning millions just being on PAYE. If you put the effort in or be good at something and you enjoy it, you can achieve in it. I didn't want to say, oh yeah, okay, it'd be nice to say I'm a business owner, but it was not, I'm doing it for a status thing. I didn't fit into the corporate world. In 10 years, I had 10 jobs, and something always was missing. This is the longest thing I've ever done now, was tax assist. And you're always chasing. If you're not happy, you're never going to achieve it, whether that be with business entrepreneurship or with your job. So just, it's a cliche, but yeah, you have to do what makes you happy.
100%. And that's what it was at Tax Assistant. Like, at Tax Assistant, we enjoyed ourselves. We didn't mind coming on a Monday. We didn't mind doing, extra hours or whatever. We didn't mind because of the culture that was there. And it was like, just go, it's chilling with your mates. It's literally that. And that's a massive thing. Because when you're doing it, like here now at Evolve Tax, we give everyone, flexible working. So you can kind of work when you want. Some people work, some people don't work. But you can work when you want, from wherever you want, because there's certain roles are client facing. You're not going to be able to do that, but you're still going to have flexible working, so you can manage your diary how you want. So if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got nothing on, I don't expect you to log on and make a job for yourself, if you know what I mean. But that's a big thing. Like, not many employers do it. And I was reading something about, I think around the world, or UK especially, it's coming full circle again. So when COVID came and remote working became a thing, but I think a lot of people now want their people back in the office again. Whereas I like people not being remote working, because for me, the important thing for me having a business is to not have to go to the office every day, to spend more time with my daughter, basically.
As long as the work gets done,
That's it, yeah.
And you've got income coming in, you can cover your bills, and then everything else is a blessing, a bonus.
Exactly that. And the thing is, I think the trade-off is your culture then. That's your trade-off. Because you don't have that specific culture. You can try build it, have team building events and things like that. And then there's just sometimes messages come across differently over a phone than it does in person, and things like that.
No, I get it, because when you're in the office, we used to shout across, Huzefa, what's going on? What's happening with this client? And then if you're not there in the room, or you have to pick the phone up or send an email, sometimes things get lost, mistranslated, or there's a delay in answering them. So it's plus and benefits, but definitely in this day and age, you have to have that hybrid approach, especially for the staff. People have different skills, and some people don't like, they work better on their own. Some people do work better together, but you need to offer that flexibility to everybody to get the best out of them.
To be honest, the way I look at it is that me as an individual likes to do remote working, flexible working, and I work at stupid hours or whatnot, and I want the rest of our staff to have that same thing, where they can, if obviously their diary isn't busy and they don't have like a meeting or something like that, they want to go play paddle at 3:00 in the afternoon, but then in the evening catch up on their work, by all means go for it. I don't care.
That's how it should be. But people abuse that. You only can do that with the right
100%.
team. Probably, similar to your team United at the moment. What Amorin's trying to do, he's trying to achieve something with his team that they just can't do. You have to have the team to implement that strategy.
And, exactly. And look, we've got a good team. And we're relatively. He's getting excited over there, but we've got a good team, and it's just building that culture, building that togetherness. I think a togetherness is very, very important in a business because the last thing, look, we've been in businesses that are not corporate. We don't like the corporate world. So the thing that I find difficult now is that when people are telltaling of each other or something like that, if anything, I want you to not tell me something and cover for someone. I would respect that a lot more than you come to me and say, this person did this or this person did that.
To get some brownie points.
Yeah, exactly, because that don't really work for me because like I was obviously with he who shall not be named, but I would try cover for him or whatnot, and then obviously sometimes people just go hang themselves and that's what it is. But it's the same thing here. You want to build that relationship with your peers that they can rely on you, they can trust you, and then if something does become major or something like that, something that can't be rectified, then bring me into the picture.
This is what I've always said at work, is that we're not perfect, we're not robots, we'll always make mistakes, technical mistakes, I'll make them. What I hate or dislike and I can't forgive is lies.
Yeah, 100%.
Lies in the workplace, when people are trying to cover their tracks, throw their team members under the bus. That I'll rather, you have no qualification, but I have your trust and that I can trust you, then you be fully qualified, have however many degrees and be chartered, and you're lying to my face.
100%. And I think I'll mention Jack in this now. Jack that works with you, like he's someone that you could rely on. He'll be there whatever you need. He'll go the extra mile for you. He'll take the piss as well sometimes. But that's just the nature of it. I took the piss a lot. I can say it now. But I took the piss a lot. I used to come in at what time I want. I used to go out what time I want. But I didn't really, I never, one thing was for certain that I made sure that my work gets done. And I made sure that I went above and beyond. And I didn't do anything in the sense that, to jeopardize exactly. And that's the thing. You try to do things to the best of your ability, and you make mistakes. You just got to front up and front up and say sorry.
Yeah, it's like you made mistakes, and of course I used to get angry with the rest of the staff as well. But you always say, sorry, I helped my heart open.
Yeah.
So it's like
you can't. Conversation over.
What am I going to say to that?
It's conversation over. You literally cannot say anything else to that because someone's acknowledged they've made a mistake. Yeah. They've taken that on board. Now, if you keep making that mistakes,
next time do something better, and you're like, what are you supposed to say to that?
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was good times. So, talk to us about at Taxis. You went through, a big thing in life of getting married.
It's been 3 years.
3 years now, is it?
Yeah, 3 years.
So, obviously found your wife, came to, got married in Dubai.
You gave a speech. Albeit not sober.
Let's not talk about that. So, gave a speech.
Kiza, just in that part, I'll send you a picture. Just get that on there. Just get that on there, mate.
And, you went to Dubai quite a few times before you got married. And, you came here to get married, and your family, we came out here, friends and family, had a great time. And then you moved back to the UK. And did you already have your property then, or did you purchase a property?
Yeah, I already had my property. I had my property a year before that because it's out on rent. Yeah. So when I got married, just before I got married, about 5 weeks before that, I had tenants that were awful, and the property I bought I thought was a ready to move in. Ended up having to strip it all and pretty much start again. To be fair, shout out to Wayne and the boys, man, because they did that in 5 weeks. I still don't know how they did it all in 5 weeks, but we went back, and I think that was the first time. When we came here at that time, we were here with our, family. You come here with your friends or whatnot. But this was the first time we were there. My parents came here. My brother was here. Everyone was here, and we had, it was class. Yeah. My missus still just says, he was a lad's holiday, mate. It wasn't a wedding, but it was a wedding. You know what? I'm like the visa plug, man. I got visas for everyone. All the man them got visas. But that was the first time, and then I thought, I could potentially move out here one day. I enjoy it here. Then we came back again in February. It was every year after January I'd go on holiday because of how January was. So in February I came out here, and at that particular moment in time, it was a bit more like, could I live here? Could I not live here? And when I came here, I was looking at other things. I started looking at what kind of property prices, where could I live and all of that. And even then, at that particular moment in time, obviously, at that moment, we were, you just bought another practice or whatnot. So at that moment, I didn't say that, I'm leaving, I'm going to be going or whatever. But after that, it was like, okay, now my wife's pregnant. So with my wife being pregnant, it was like, I think we need to explore this. Because I didn't really want to raise a child, never mind a daughter. I didn't want to raise a child in the UK because of just everything that's going on. It's not safe. The things that they teach at school and just everything. And I disagree with the whole outdated school system that's there or whatnot. So for me, it was a case of like, I don't really want to raise a child here. So that was the thing that kind of put everything into motion a lot quicker. So then in September, obviously, I came. We set up Evolve Outsource. I came and I decided that, you know what, I'm going to put a date on it. So I got my residency done and I put a date on 1st of June. Was it the 3rd of June? 3rd of June is when I'm going to move here. And it was just about getting the wheels in motion. Like, that year now just feels like a bit of a blur. My daughter was born in November that year. And
feels a blur for me because you're still doing taxes work and how that year went and trying to find your feet here after we spoke to each other like every day still. But that time was like, it was crazy. Like I was one physical member of staff down, but you was logging in like different hours and doing still working bits and pieces like from over there. And so it was crazy time for management. For you, it must have been crazy. For me, it was crazy as well.
It was like, so then that November, obviously I had my daughter, and then it was June, okay, now we do it. And the kind of thought process was that if we do it now, when Hafsa's like 6 months old, 7 months old, we can go for a year. If we enjoy it, then great. If we don't enjoy it, we're not going to put our house on rent or anything like that. It's just recently been renovated. I don't want anyone to come and ruin my house. So at that time I had a mortgage at that time. So I was still paying a mortgage at that time. Plus I was paying rent here.
Was your wife supportive of that with,
100%.
the little one being, so young then and you having family over in Dubai, and end of the day, you two were both each other's, support partners really, because you had no one else there with the little one?
Yeah. And I think that, look, there's a nanny culture here. I think before I probably didn't understand the nanny culture. I still disagree with certain parts of the nanny culture.
Explain to me, I don't know what's the nanny culture.
So like obviously there's a culture that a lot of people here have nannies and maids and like drivers and things like that. Now in the UK, it's only like the elite would have nannies, maids and things. Effectively, you don't want someone else raising your child. So my viewpoint is that I wouldn't mind having a maid or whatever to help out in the house or whatnot if we're having other children or whatnot. But I wouldn't really want someone predominantly being the carer for my kids. And before I would probably disagree with that whole nanny culture, but you kind of understand it to an extent for some people that move out here that are not able to make friends or whatever, and they might want to do something together, like a couple what do you do then in that situation? My daughter's just been third wheeling all the way since she's been here. But look, my wife was completely supportive, and I think at that moment in time, my thing was like, look, I don't know for 100% that I'm going to enjoy it, but we have to come with a mindset that we're living here. So if we come with a mindset of, I'm leaving UK, I'm going to miss X, Y, and Z, then you are going to miss X, Y, and Z. But if you come with a mindset that this is my new home or this could be my new home, and you settle in that with that mindset, I think the transition becomes a lot easier. Now, the transition was easy for me in the sense that we came here. I remember we landed on a Tuesday morning. I bought a car on the Tuesday evening, went to see a property on the Wednesday, and the Thursday, the property we went to see on Wednesday, I said, yeah, we'll take it. And then the next 2 weeks, so we were 3 weeks, we were in an apartment, and the next 2 weeks we're just furniture shopping. We're going furniture shopping and getting things like that, getting our house kitted out. And that was the one thing that I was a bit selective of. A lot of people would say, if you're moving countries, there's only 2.5 of you, get an apartment. But I was like, I'm giving up a house there, so I want to come to something that is got my comforts.
From home to home.
Yeah, got my comforts, and I'm not giving myself, or I'm not giving my wife any room to say anything about anything. Not that my wife, alhamdulillah, she's not a complainer or nothing like that. I rate her because she's quite similar to me. She's just a go-getter. She just gets on with it, man. Like, to an extent, we had a function for our wedding on a Saturday evening.
Every time I come to yours, she's complaining about you.
We had a function for our wedding on a Saturday evening, and we had to leave for Heathrow at 3 a.m. And that's insane. Getting on a flight like but she's like, she wasn't one that, nah, I'm not going to do that. Let's go on Monday instead. It's just like, yeah, let's do it. So that's the kind of person she is. And you know what? She actually handled the transition a lot better than, no, I wouldn't say a lot better, but a lot better than I expected. The one thing that I was specific about, I wanted a townhouse villa, and I'm in an hour in about a gated community. You get more for your buck if you're not in a gated community, you get less in it. But I'm so glad I went for a gated community, because with a gated community, you can make friends a lot easier. And with my daughter there wanting to go play area every single day and swimming or whatnot, my missus is relentless. She's taking it all the time. And she ended up making a circle of friends. I, in turn, became friends with their husbands. And I'd say, like, we were going back and forward with the situation with my mum a lot. And obviously, I moved. I left in June. I was back in September. October to December, I was back in the office. And then we came back, officially back again in Jan.
Do you feel that you're settled now, that you call, well, Sharjah, where you are now, your home?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you ever see yourself coming back to the UK?
I say to everyone that asks me this, I say that I hope and I pray that inshallah I'm never in a position to have to come back, because I am really settled here. We are really settled here. It's like the biggest difference I think that happened from when I first initially come here to now is that I've made a very good friendship, a circle of friends, and you've met quite a few of them. And that makes it a lot easier, because we will play cricket together once a week, albeit we come to Dubai for it. We play paddle together once a week. I just took up paddle.
Your social life is crazy.
Yeah, and I play football once a week. And I gave up football to come speak to you today. But
thank you very much.
And like last weekend, for example, we had the lads from football plus a couple of lads we know in Sharjah. We did a family barbecue, so we all just chipped in. Me and another friend of mine went and got the meat and whatnot on the Friday, marinated it all, and did a barbecue on the Saturday in a national park. And our wives came over, and they ended up making friends. They've made a WhatsApp group called Footballers' Wives. so they've ended up making friends, and that's how it kind of happens here.
It's like we all know, or a lot of us know about the plus points, the sun, the safety. Is there anything that you would say that you miss from the UK?
Greasy doner. Greasy doner.
For you to say that.
Fat chips. Dixie.
You still go to go and get Heinz and Walkers and things?
Yeah, I still. You know what? That's one thing I'd say to anyone that's moving out here. You have to be prepared to substitute your brands, because if you don't substitute your brands, this place can become very expensive.
I know this from spending the last month in October and you helping me out, giving pointers of where to shop and to. So I was looking at as a experiment what would it be like, even though I was on my own, just to find my feet. I've normally coming to Dubai for holidays, going out and partying, and to see that can actually work from here, which was the main experiment which I achieved. And then for you just giving me like little pointers that shop here, do this, is like found that you can actually do it on a budget. You can spend as much as you want here, or as little as you want.
Exactly. It can be as cheap as you want. It can be as expensive as you want. Certain things, the one thing that you have to remember is that Dubai compares itself to London. So because it compares itself to London, and you see apartments, you see properties and whatnot, they still think that they're in their infancy, because the prices aren't London prices, and you get more for your buck here. Like, for example, you're getting an apartment here that would probably cost you 150 grand for a studio or a one bed or whatever in pounds, but you're getting amenities like a pool, gym, all that kind of stuff. Whereas in London, you can't get anything close to that. And that's why the real estate market is quite interesting here. And the real estate market is interesting because a lot of people are moving here as well. And I don't think from a townhouse and villa perspective, there's enough supply. I think that's what it is. it's a different type of person moving here now.
I've seen that myself. Like, you know, back in like 10, 15 years ago, everyone's buying apartment, you know, studio flats, and now families are moving here, and that demand will get outstripped because, end of the day, families generally don't want to live in an apartment, or for a long term they don't want to live in an apartment. So there'll be the townhouses and villas, that community that I was looking at, not much available.
It's not much available, and they're expensive. They're picking up in price. But I think the other thing that you have to just stop, once you come here, you have to stop comparing little things and back to the UK. Because if you're starting to compare little things in terms of saying, oh, the UK this or whatever, you're not looking at life in general here. Because one thing for starters is that, granted, certain things might be more expensive here, but you're taking home a lot more because you're not getting taxed, because you're not getting national insurance. So your pay packet's a lot larger.
See, I want to say differ from what you're saying there, but one thing that I have conversations with people who don't look too much further in Dubai. They see what's in the media or high level. They see the glitz and glamour. I want to move there. As an accountant, you know, and we'll come on to your new business, is that they always say, oh yeah, you can save tax there, it's brilliant, I'm moving to Dubai, but they don't factor into account, you know, okay, your living cost might be a little bit more. If you have got kids, like I've got kids, for my kids, the schooling is actually a lot more. If you're living in the communities within Dubai, you know, you might write off that tax that you're saving, but if you're, I'm not looking at Dubai to save money.
Tax. It's not
save tax. It's about the lifestyle and the livelihood for my children, for that free, you know, for mentally as well.
Put it this way: if next year you make $100,000 a month, or £1 million a year, let's just say, and you're able to take that home now, £1 million take home, you've paid all the taxes, how much better would your life be? Or how much better would your life be in the UK with your kids? You're still going to have the same thing in the sense that your kids are going to go to school from 9 till 5. By the time they come back, it's probably going to be dark. You're still going to have that issues of safety, security. You're still going to have, you're still not going to have what you have in terms of a lifestyle here.
Not going to lie, that would be the nanny's problem.
But you're not going to have the lifestyle here. Here, you can enjoy your wealth. I say this to people all the time, like, you can enjoy it. You can't flaunt your wealth in Dubai, but you can enjoy it, because here you can wear whatever watch you want. But you're not going to be better than you. You can have a G-Wagon here, Someone else has got a Brabus. Someone's got a Mansouri. Someone's got a gold plate. Someone's got a number plate that's one digit. Bro, it's just never ending. You can't compete. You can't compete here.
No one cares.
No one cares about it. That's the thing, is no one cares about it. But in terms of lifestyle, you can really enjoy it, because even summer, 7 o'clock is when people go out. I used to always joke, and my cousin came recently, and she used to live in Riyadh, and she said my daughter's like a Middle Eastern baby, and I said, I joked about this when I first moved here, that I want my daughter to be a Middle Eastern baby. People think, what do you mean by that? I was like, I don't want her to have this thing of in bed by 7, in bed by 8. I want her to enjoy life. Like, I look at it and I think, I'm gonna have 20 more years with her before she gets married, maybe, or, you know, whatever she does, I want to enjoy that with her. I want her to enjoy it. I want her to have a different life. And, you know, that I'm looking at homeschooling, and it's not because people would say that you've moved to the UAE because of schooling or whatever. But at the same time, I think about it and I'm like, I can teach my daughter in 2 hours what she would learn in 7-8 hours.
That's mad.
You can in 2 to 3 hours. And I'm
take out all the playtime, the lunchtime, and
of course, when you're in a room full of 15, 20 kids, every child is a different kind of learner. You'll have groups of different learners. Someone might be like, kinetic learner. Someone might be a visual learner. Someone might be like memorize things and things like that. Whereas if I know from a young age, or from my daughter, that this is the kind of learner my daughter's going to be, I can focus on learning on that.
I think that's really important. But for you to do that, you only can do that if you've got that balance in your own life. For before you can start looking after your daughter, it's now you wouldn't be able to do that in the UK
Yeah.
because like you'll be like say working 9 to 5 or leaving traffic, everything, wherever the rest of it, you have to go into the office. And then now because you've managed to, you know, make your life, I would say, not where you want to be, but a lot more manageable for yourself with manage to play sports in the day,
Yeah.
have time off when you want, because you're happy within yourself now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
mentally you feel better that you've got that mental space now to spend more time with your daughter
Yeah.
to make her life even better.
Look, we've obviously had this conversation a lot, and you've said it before on my podcast. We've had this conversation as well privately. Now you missed like 10 years of your kids, and like in essence, and that's why I feel like I'm the richest man in the world because alhamdulillah, like every single day, the days like yesterday, for example, I went back home late and my daughter's asleep. So when I left early in the morning, I got a bit of time with my daughter, but by the time I got home, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's a bit shit, innit?
That's why.
But on the grand scheme of things, we're always doing things with our daughter. Whether it means taking my and the biggest thing is my wife. In this whole scenario is my wife, because if my wife wasn't one that was as supportive or wasn't able to do that wasn't taking that role on, I think it'd be very difficult. Because me knowing that my house is taken care of allows me to do everything else that I want to do and I need to do. And that's my role and my responsibility. And I will do that. If that means that I'm going to work 12, 15, 20 hours a day, don't worry. That's on me.
It's good that you're aware that it's not, even though you've put I'd say, the hard work of the business and, you know, the income coming in, that you're only able to do this because you've got a strong backbone to enable you to do that, which I feel like this day and age is very difficult to find. I mean, you've probably
100%.
seen with, you know, you hear about stories of friends or, you know, have family members. And
The thing is, I feel like nowadays a lot of times couples are competing with each other, which is a bit mad. It's mad that I say it, but they do wanna, like, they want to get one up on their career or whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas me, when I first spoke to my wife, I always said that my career is the one that's going to take precedence, especially when we have children, because I'm the breadwinner. That's my role and my responsibility. And then obviously, when you do things in that manner and when you do it like that, the barakah comes and the blessings come. And I said this to my brother because my brothers, we're both in a similar situation in that sense. We both work for ourselves and both of our wives are taking care of our children. And it's like, I'm like, because we do things like that, that's why we get that extra blessing. Because we've done it, we've kept how it should be, where my wife is able to raise my daughter. And it was funny because someone said that when you're looking for a spouse, you should look at their mother. And I'm just like, that is so true, because that's what women will become like. And that's why it's having that good example at home for my daughter, even though she's relatively young. That these are the things that, in essence, they will...
I thought, so would you, Anika's mother, you're seeing, looking at that?
Oh, no.
I was thinking, yo, where's this conversation going?
No, it's just, but you can see what kind of character someone has in them. And principles and morals, and they're very important. And
A family background.
Values are just so important. It's like, in my marriage, it's never been a situation of like, my family, your family. My in-laws, I used, every time, my routine in the UK used to be that I used to have a game on a Saturday. My missus would go, or my missus and my daughter would go to my in-laws, and I would go to my in-laws that Saturday, every Saturday without fail. Eat there in the evening, whatever. It was just our day like that. But that's how it should be, and that's how like families are.
So you're the whipped, yeah.
Quite the opposite, to be honest with you. You got me out 8 p.m.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's the backbone. The things that Anika can do with Hafsa, I can't do. You look, you're a dad, yeah? Just because you're not able to do it doesn't make you a bad dad. But like, I could entertain my daughter for a couple of hours, but I can't entertain my daughter a whole day. Anika can entertain my daughter a whole day, but that's just the way we're built.
Motherly instinct.
Exactly. Whereas us, you put us in front of, you know, doing graph for 10, 12, 14 hours. We're on it. We're doing it. It's innate. It's within our nature.
Different having a conversation with someone else, like, you know, different responsibilities, different makeup. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just shared responsibilities in a different manner.
That's it. That's literally what it is. It's a shared responsibility, but in a different manner. And the thing is, we know that it works because, alhamdulillah, it does work.
And like people, some people will be watching this and say, "Oh, this is old school mentality. It's sexist." But physical makeup, is that you can't expect a woman to go and lift, as much as a man. Just physically, it's not.
We have different responsibilities, and look, at the end of the day, a lot of people in now this day and age will disagree with us, but that's you do what you want to do. That's up to you. Just because you disagree with us, it doesn't mean what we're saying is wrong. We will disagree with you, but if you want to, go down that route, that's up to you. But for us, it works, and it works because that's the way. Men have a lot of responsibilities. One thing I've actually realized, and a lot of people don't talk about this, and this is a bit off topic. No one ever talks about, for a man, that situation, whereby you have young children, but your parents are getting older, and your parents kind of need you as well. And you're basically in between both. You're like, you've got a child that's young, that needs you. You've got a wife that needs you. But then you've got your parents. And sometimes we forget that as we're getting older, our parents are getting older as well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, for the women that are watching this year, we don't know what childbirth feels like. Or, we're just saying it's different responsibilities, and appreciate that they do a lot. But from the male's perspective, I don't know the stats off my head, but why is it from 25 to 40, the biggest killer is suicide? Because men really don't talk about these things. You have to be a son, a brother, a friend, a father. Okay, women has to be similar. But generally, in a lot of households, the man is the breadwinner. Or the reliance on, if that income stops, then the woman, generally, without being sexist, looks after the child. And that pressure is not really spoken about openly. And that's the reason why a lot of these statistics show that male suicide is one of the highest killers.
It is, it's just, I think it's like one of them, and if you want to be politically correct, it's each to their own, and but and
you got to find what works for you.
What works for you, But
what I'm trying to say is that where you're in life at the moment, you're happy what you've achieved, and things are going the right direction for you.
I think, look, the biggest thing I learned in the last year is that we think we're in control of our lives, but we're actually in control of nothing. And obviously, I'm Muslim, and I know that everything comes from God. So for me, it's just a case of do good, be disciplined, and just enjoy. I think that's where my mindset is at this moment in time. Just enjoy my daughter, enjoy, with my wife or whatever, and make memories. Like, I've read something the other day about kids aren't really going to remember the things you buy them. If you bought your kids something at 5 or 6, they're not going to remember what you bought them.
You're going to remember it when I'm there.
But at the same time, like, the things that you take them, the experiences they have. I said this to you the other day. Living here is like living in one big holiday. It literally is that. And I look at it all the time, and I feel very fortunate. I look at my daughter sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? You actually don't realize. You're not that you need to realize, but at this moment in time, you don't need to. But you don't realize how fortunate you are. You're thinking that this world is like this, where you can go outside at the front, go run outside, play with a tap in the drive, go outside in the back, go to the playground and all of that, and this is all normal, but it's actually not normal anymore.
Your daughter thinks that getting on planes is like going on a bus.
Mate, it's ridiculous. You know what? This is my new thing. When we went back to UK in October, so we've got our flight from here to Doha. Yeah, we've got there. Come off the flight. All she's saying, I want aeroplane. I'm like, what? I want aeroplane. So on the way back, obviously, I came back before my wife. So my wife said, okay, I'm going to go buy her. So they came on Qatar, so she bought a little aeroplane, Qatar Airways aeroplane. She looked at it, she gave it back, and she goes, I want aeroplane. She wants a real aeroplane.
You're going to have a hard job, man.
And you know what? If you want to just summarize my life here, my daughter's going around, all she's saying at this moment in time, Abu, buy more. So what my wife does, if she's like, doesn't want to give her something, be like, it's finished, Abu will buy more. So she always say, Abu, buy more. Like, this is she loves bubbles, and it's like, bubbles. And I'm like, Abu buy more. Okay, Abu buy more.
Yeah.
All right. But she's a chatterbox, man.
That is good, yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know, kids are the most. Man, I can't even describe it, man.
You probably don't see it from, I used to see you every single day from, 7 years, and speak to each other every single day. From as soon as you had your daughter, I seen the maturity in yourself
Yeah.
change. You still got a long way to go. But
Look at me, man. I'm not even wearing loud clothes anymore, man.
You're getting there, but it just changes you. It's not like, oh, now our daughter overnight and it's changed. It just happens.
It just naturally happens, man. And look, I think it's a case of you trying to be the best role model for your children, and because look, I'm going to mention Usaid here now. Usaid loves saying this, but he loves saying that kids won't do what you tell them. Kids will do what they see. And it's true, because like when I'm praying in my house now,
I thought he was on about your nephew's really clever.
Nah. Usaid, man, sales coach. But
shout out to Usaid.
But it's like when I'm praying in my house, and my daughter will go and pray, and she knows how to pray, and she's just over 2, and it's just insane, because that's what they learn. They learn from the things that you do, and that is so you have to change as a person. You can't have them bad habits anymore that you might have had before. And the other thing you have to, when I got married, it was a case of like, the decisions I'm making for the both of us. Now, when I've had a child, it's like the decisions I'm making for all 3 of us now. So it's different. And like, I don't think I've really spent much in the last year in terms of clothes or things like that. Because it's just like, I don't need anything. I want more simplicity.
Not even all thinking all 3 of them. You're focusing just on your kid, really. Everything is focused on them.
Yeah, it's just literally that.
So it's crazy. So no, you touched on there that over the last few years, you've realised how fast life can change and situation changes. And I think one hard thing that you went through, or you're probably referring to, is when you moved out to Dubai. You was in Dubai, wasn't you? And your mum fell ill.
Yeah, so I initially moved out here in June, and at that time, my mum was kind of going through like a bit of a decline, but you think it's old age, forgetting certain things, but you just think it's old age, and it's just life as you grow older. And I still remember, like, obviously my missus isn't Gujarati, and we have we have this famous Gujarati dish called curry khichdi, and it's just such a heartwarming kind of gift, man. It's like, it's a wholesome meal. And I told my wife, like, I don't care about anything else. Yeah, I cook myself, so I'm not really like a demanding person. I'm very easy, I am. I would have fish fingers and beans and waffles, mate. But I was like, you know what, just go learn curry khichdi from mum. So she learnt it as well, and we came here. And then around about August, I went back. So I went back in August. My missus went to Pakistan for her brother's wedding, so they went for a month. So I ended up going to UK for 2 weeks and then going there. And I went there, and my mum became a bit more, I'd say, like, what's the word? It's not reserved, but it's like when you're
distant.
Yeah, a bit distant, or like a bit like she's there but not there, in a sense, not involved in conversations or whatnot. But she's still going up and down the stairs and things like that. She's still mobile. Then on the way back from Pakistan, my mum had another fall, so she had a few falls or whatnot. Doctors at the beginning, the NHS, couldn't really get to the bottom of anything or whatever, and just kept fobbing it off, to be honest with you. And I was then in an hour about, shall I go back? She's in hospital, shall I go back? I thought, yeah, let's go back. And we thought initially we'll go for 10 days. And then we kind of got a bit of a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and PSP. But with dementia, a lot of these are overlapped and they have the similar symptoms or whatnot. But it's mad, because like from that September to now, it's just been a mad decline. Like she went into hospital. She was in hospital for about a month, and then out of that, you thought that she'd learn how to walk again, but it's not been that. And it's just slow. Well, I wouldn't even say slowly. I'd say it just rapidly deteriorated to a point where, like, my mum's there, but she's not there. She's just there, like, eating or whatnot. you can get some reactions from, like, you know, from her face. She might recognize you, she might not recognize you. And for me, it's like, it's very difficult seeing my mum like this. It's very difficult seeing my mum suffer.
It must be very difficult for being so far away. In
Yeah,
a way.
and like I'm there, like I'm pretty much there every 6 weeks now. I'm going back again this weekend, but it's not. You know what it is? The thing is, and this is when I go back to this about control. Like, you think you have control in life. Like, my mum probably had plans. My mum probably look. You know, the saddest thing about this whole situation is that my mum used to work in playgroup. So when my mum worked in playgroup, she basically, in our community, if you look at kids that are my age, younger than me, she's effectively, you know, been with a lot of kids. A lot of kids have grown up with her because she's worked in playgroup and she's done nursery and whatnot. And now it's a time where my brother's obviously got a son. My mum never had a daughter. My mum always wanted a daughter, never had a daughter. And that she's got a granddaughter now. And she's not able to do anything. She's not, like, my granddaughter, my daughter will go and play with her or whatnot, but she just can't. She's,
appreciates.
There's nothing. It's just, and it's really
and
sad to see.
Time to.
And the other thing is, like, my brother's doing so well as well with his business, and me, alhamdulillah, are doing so well as well. And it's just like, I can't share it with her.
This is the thing, that in life, there's always going to be something missing. Like, when you're younger, you're always working, and then the money comes, and if you have the money, your lifestyle changes, and some people have kids, some people can't have kids, and then some people can have kids and then they don't get to enjoy it with their parents. In stages in life, unfortunately, there's not many people that can say, I'm content with everything, I've got everything that I want. There's always something that they wish
that's going to be missing,
that's always missing, and that's an unfortunate bit of life.
And the thing is, like, being content for me is like the biggest thing. Like, it's mad because when I met my wife's family for the first time, someone asked me, one of our aunts asked me, why are you not chartered, or would you not become chartered? And I just said, I'm content. I got a good job, I get good money. I'm like, I don't really have to it's not going to make a difference in my life if I go become...
Badge of honor, help other people.
Exactly, and I can probably do the same thing. Like, I just need to give taxes a call if I'm stuck on something. Do you get what I'm saying? Or I can ask someone and I can get an answer for you because I can comprehend that answer and relay it back to you. But I think at that point in life I was content, and then it was a case of, I'm still content, but it was moving and uprooting your family. Looking back at it now, we just took it in our stride because of the people that we are. But it's a very difficult thing. It's not easy, and especially with everything that's going on. And I think, for me, the biggest thing is that I have to be content in what Allah has planned for me. That's why I have to be content. Because I look at myself and I'm in a better position than a lot of people in this world. A lot of people. Don't get me wrong, there's other people that might have more than me on the face of it, but now I'm
as long as you're happy.
If I go to shopping, if I go to a shop, we don't have to budget, we don't have to worry about that. If I have to, if my daughter wants something, I don't ever have to say no to her. I drive my dream car now. Alhamdulillah, we have a nice house. We have, what more do we want? Realistically, what more do we want? The only thing that's missing for me now is my family not being able to enjoy this with me. That's the thing that's the one thing that I do feel like is missing. And it's not a case of like me saying, oh, look at me, I'm here, and you lot are back in the UK. And the plan was always this, that my parents would come here and my brother would come here. And there's nothing that would make me more happy if they're able to join us and enjoy this life with us, because I feel like we deserve it in that sense, not in a sense. And it's just a completely different life. Like, you've seen it now. You've been here for a month. You've been here again. You see the kind of life that we have. It's normal, and it's nothing like, it's just chilling. It's just like stress-free in a way.
I've been to your house. It's wicked, it's beautiful, like peaceful. And,
it's so peaceful, the area.
Where
and all
you
of
are, it's lovely. And like, I think when you get to a certain age, like, cars, materialistic,
everything's
and
materialistic,
brands,
man. You know what? I bought my car, and I think after a week I was just like, okay, yeah, it's a car.
It's done.
Yeah,
Just tick
it's
box.
just, he's a car, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
But-
after a week,
but
it was
there-
like that.
But there's like some people, like, you know, that you'll know, and even celebrities who've got on the outside everything. They're multi-millionaires. They've probably got pools wherever, you know, anything they want, private jets, and they kill themselves because
They do, yeah.
they're not grateful. They're not content inside. They're always chasing something, and it just. I never used to understand when they say money can't make you happy. I totally get it now, because if you're not happy yourself, nothing's gonna make.
Nothing's gonna make
If
you
you're not
happy.
happy within yourself, you can't be. You will not make someone, your family, happy, and you will always be chasing.
You're always going to see things that you don't have.
Mm.
You know, that's the thing. You always see things that you don't have. And like in our religion, they said, and like basically it was prophesied that if you have one valley of gold, you're going to want another valley of gold. If you've got two valleys of gold, you're going to want another valley of gold. And it's true. And sometimes you've just got to sit there and just go, like, you look, at the end of the day, my wife, sometimes when she wants to be appreciative, she's like, oh, you work really hard on that. And I say to her, I go, look, I work hard, I do, but we're just blessed. Because the person that comes and cleans our garden, our drive, they're grafting, mate. In the summer here, boy, they are grafting. Me, I'm sat behind a computer working a stupid o'clock. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's just that we're blessed in that way. And that's just, you know, we can't ever take anything for granted, I think. This, like I said, that whole situation with my mum is like, my mum must have had things that she wanted to do. She, you know, she might have wanted to move here with us. Eventually, she was going to move here with us. And it just wasn't written for that to happen. It may change, you never know. But I remember my aunt coming recently. My aunt came from America, and she kind of broke down because that's my mum's sister. And she was just like, she broke down because we've got a bedroom in our house that is my parents' bedroom here. So when we moved here, one bedroom was like, oh, when my brother comes visit. And the first bedroom was like, this is with my parents. And like, we specifically bought a lower bed so my mum can get on, my dad can get on. And it's just one of them that I think you think you're in control of a lot of things, but you're not in control of anything. You just got to enjoy.
I think it's the upbringing of ourselves, of our background, of our parents that enables us to have that work ethic. And
100%.
I think that sometimes I've had a hard day, shit day, or my life's crap. Then I'm thinking, actually, what must have my dad felt like coming to a different country, not able to speak the language, working in a foundry 15 hours a day, just coming home, eating roti, and then going back to work the next day, and doing that for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's hard. What we do is mentally hard because I think we're soft.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to look from the outside to see, you know, what is actually hard.
See, I'm going to give you an example now when I tell you about like, so we call it rizq. So rizq is from Allah, yeah? And we talk about barakah and blessing, yeah? So people that come here and they've worked years, yeah? My dad's dad, my granddad, yeah? He didn't have a job. So their story is actually mad, like my grandparents' story. They were in Burma. They lost everything overnight. At one point, they were filthy rich. My aunt used to go to school in a Rolls Royce. Their dresses used to have real gold on there. They were filthy rich. Then Civil War happened. They had to basically whatever they had on them, they took back. They had this thing that said, India, please welcome back, take back your people, basically. And they ended up going back to India. And at that point, they lost everything overnight, in essence. Then my granddad came to the UK. When my granddad came to the UK, all he did was teach kids. So 2-3 hours a day, teach kids. When my granddad passed away, and when my grandma effectively passed away, they ended up leaving an estate of about circa 150, 200 grand. And you're like, bro, that's mad. That's insane.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, he used to walk a mile for £1 a week. Yeah. And I remember back then shopping was like £20 for the whole family and that a week in Asda. But like, it's mad. So no matter, but again, that brings to my point that we can keep making as much money as we want, yeah. But if you've got no barakah and blessing in that money, yeah, it's not going to stretch anywhere. You're not going to get much out of it. Whereas these people have, you know, and like my dad grafted. I've seen my dad graft. Like my dad never took any sick days. And this is the work ethic. You know, when we talk about work ethic for my parents, my mum worked, my dad worked, and my mum, on top of my mum working, my mum used to look after my grandma. So my grandparents at the beginning. So my mum used to work 9 till 12 in the nursery, then do an hour as a dinner lady, and then come home and go see my grandma when my granddad passed away, and then cook and do things for my grandma and that. And that's literally the life she lived in that sense. Serving a husband, serving a mother-in-law. And you know how insane that is? Like, it's madness.
It's crazy because like you've come to Dubai, you've gone to a different country. They're doing like some. Can you imagine then? Your dad's like, "Oh, I'm moving here. Oh, okay, I'm going to play paddle now. I'm going to."
Mate, you get slapped up, mate. They used to like. They said, and I was speaking to one of my aunts, she's a bit older, and they were saying that when they came into the UK, and they first moved to the UK, they used to have like hostels, basically a room. They used to have like a matriarch or whatever. They used to cook, and then they used to have a hostel room. People would go on the day shift, work, whilst the night shift people would sleep in them beds. The night shift would go on the day shift people would sleep in the same beds. Bro, we're here now. You're here. Like, we've got every comfort we got in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane.
I went to remember last time I came, I went to the shop to get my water, and you said, "What are you doing?" Order it. What are you doing, man? Why are you walking around?
I know, yeah. Why are you walking around, yeah? Business baby, case of water, but just order it, man.
I was training. That's funny. We didn't touch on the reason that obviously moved here for lifestyle, but you've set up your business, Evolve Tax, now helping people from the UK move to Dubai for tax efficiencies. But because you've made the move, it's not just about tax that you help with, helping people with their business banking, sorting out their visas, setting their companies up, and generally more of I would say, not an accountant, a consultant.
Yeah. So I think, look, obviously I first set my business up here about 3 years ago, or was it 4 years ago? And when I did, one thing I've realized about the UAE, and I love the UAE to bits, and I would still definitely recommend the UAE to everyone. But one thing I've realized is people see a lot of people as walking ATMs here. It's mad here. I'll tell you what's mad is that imagine you go to a developer, yeah, to buy a house, yeah. Us people, well, we're going to go look at a developer, go look at different developers, come back, sit down, read the SPA, do all of that, and then say, shall we go for it? Shall we not go for it? Bro, people buy property here like it's candy. This place has got money. But one thing is missing is honesty and transparency. A lot of people are here that work for organizations that are our competitors, and they work on a commission-only basis or things like that. So when they're working on that, they're money hungry and they want to make something out of you. You're just another person for them. And it really annoyed me because the experience that I had with a company here, I paid for a VIP package that wasn't quite VIP, in the sense that they were meant to collect me for my appointments, took me to the wrong place, made me go to certain appointments by myself or whatnot, and it was poor. And the one thing that really annoyed me was that I paid for a package confirming that this is how much it's going to cost. And then after that, I said to him that, look, I've read somewhere that you have to become corporate tax registered. Is that mandatory? And they said yes. So I was like, can you register me for corporate tax? And they said yes, for 2000 AD. Like, but you've given me a package, so surely you should include that in the package. It's mandatory. It's not something that I have to choose, and it's my choice. You have to do this within 90 days, or you get a 10,000 AD fine.
Going to tell you.
Yeah. And look, I've sent people from my network to use these companies or whatnot, and that's general feedback that I had. So what I decided that I wanted to get into that market, but provide an end-to-end service. And what I mean by end-to-end service is that company formation is just a byproduct of what we do, is part of what we do. What we do is we speak to a client, we find out their pain points, we find out their structure account that they have at the moment, a tax structure, and then we decide what best fit is for them. Sometimes we might...
So if a client was interested, you would have a fact find with them and a consultation 100%. With them first before they just selling them like an off-the-shelf package.
If someone comes to me and they want to have like, they're telling me what they know and what they want or whatnot, I don't really entertain it because I don't want them to go down, if they're very like a bull in a china shop, no, I want this, and don't really want to listen to what I say, then I'm just like, bro, I don't want to work with you kind of thing. I want to know what they actually want and then give them advice based on that. And then what everyone knows about Dubai company setup. but you can set up within other regions, it'll be cheaper. In the same region within other Emirates, it'll be cheaper, it'll be more cost effective for you yearly. Another thing people don't really make out, a lot of companies, is that your trade license is renewed every year. So you have to pay for that every year. A lot of people think, oh yeah, I'm going to pay £3,000-4,000 now and that's it, my company's set up. No, it's not like how that is. And I know that even in our proposals where we highlight it, we're honest, this is what it's going to cost you now, this is what you're going to cost you yearly, this is what's going to cost you monthly. Monthly is the accounting package. So the big thing about the accounting package is that we need to ensure that if they approach the VAT threshold, even though they might do zero rated transactions, they have to apply for VAT exemption or apply for VAT registration. If they don't, they get a 10,000 AED fine.
What's
so we
the
need to
VAT
ensure
threshold in
375,000 AED. After 187,500, you can become voluntarily VAT registered, and VAT here is 5%. But the difference between the UK and the UAE is that if I did VAT transactions with people outside the UK, it'd be out of scope and it wouldn't form part of my taxable turnover. Whereas here it's zero rated, so it forms part of your taxable turnover. So that's why, and we get them onto software from the off. Anyone that doesn't want to work with software, we don't want to work with, purely because we've had a practice. We know that if we just go get any client now, in the long run, it's going to be hard for us. So we don't want to do that.
Made those mistakes.
Yeah, and what we do is quite premium, because for example, if you were to set up a company with me today, and you were coming here to the UAE next week, we would have a car and a driver collect you. But once they collect you, they will go get you a SIM card first, so that you got a tourist SIM card. They will take you for your medical. They will do a studio photo to ensure that your photo doesn't get rejected by visa, by the ICP or GDRFA, and then drop you off to your hotel. Then 2 days later, depending on which Emirate, will take you for your biometrics. After that, we'll drop your physical Emirates ID to you. We'll take you for your SIM card conversion from tourist SIM card to resident SIM card. If some people, we've even done driving license conversion if we've got the capacity to do it. And we don't really charge extra for it. It's just part of the package. It's part of, the service that we kind of offer. We're a premium service.
That is very premium to what us are offering.
And we'll even drop them off back to the airport to make sure they've gone. And then on top of that, what we
Is that why you take me back to the airport? To make sure I don't turn around?
But on top of that, what we do is that we have constant communication with these people. We have a group of people that, in WhatsApp groups, email, whatever, that they know that 3 months before they have to renew their trade license, they'll get an email. 3 months before they have to come back to the UAE to check in for their visa, they get an email. If their Emirates ID is expiring, they'll get an email. All these things, I've built a system to be able to do that. And on top of that, we've got WhatsApp groups with the client to make it easy for communication. And we'll check in with people every single month. So that's the service we provide. Now, the worst case scenario that could happen to a client, like, how it is in the UK when people come to us at the year end with 1 month left to their deadline and we have to kind of be creative. But here, my idea is, no, you give us the information on a monthly basis, you avoid fines, because here they might not be taxed, but there's big fines.
Yeah.
And you can't get away with not paying a fine here. 10,000 AED if you don't become VAT registered in time. 10,000 AED if you don't become corporate tax registered. You don't have your records, you're getting...
Racks up quite quickly.
So we provide an end-to-end service. So that, and on top of that, we also have Evolve Wealth Management. So with Evolve Wealth Management, what we do is we help people that are moving money here in essence, and they want to do something with their money. They might want to invest in real estate. And again, we only work with people that we align with. They have to be honest. They have to be transparent. That is the most important thing. Anytime we hire staff, Kiza will tell you, you'll see the training. In the training, the thing that we bang on about the most is honesty and transparency. And that's how we expect it with our clients.
I think that's definitely from, what we've learned. There's been a lot of companies who, they'll form a company for you, get a small term gain, there'll be no relationship, they've set it up for you, out the box, haven't met the client need, and then down the line, the only person that's going to suffer is the client,
See, the big thing, and my wife kind of tells me off about this, look, alhamdulillah, we're in a position we can decide who we want to work with. And that's quite massive because I know, like when I first started my arithmetic accountants, I went and first got a taxi driver, whereas 5 years later, I wouldn't touch a taxi driver because, it's just a lot of work, a lot of external things that they want, etc. And they don't want to pay you anything. But for me, it has to be someone that aligns with me. If I feel something off about a client, and I've had it I felt something off about a client, and it turned out he wasn't a good person. They weren't good people. We don't work with them anymore. But you know, I think I should trust my instinct a bit more. We just want to work with people that are good, honest, that align with our views, and make life easy for us.
I've sent my own clients from taxes to have asked us about this to yourselves, and you know, they speak highly of the service. If someone who is not part of taxes or interested to move into Dubai, just having a chat, just about general, building a network with yourself, how could they reach out to you?
So they can go onto our website www.evolvetax.co.uk. You probably see my face plastered on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram.
Oh, this is my podcast.
I've also got Evolve and Inspire podcast. But I think like a lot of people do come from us from referrals, like from yourself, and everyone's been happy. I try and meet as many people as I can really, and have a conversation with them, because at the end of the day, it's a transaction that is between people, and a business is about between people. People buy off people.
People buy off people.
And like people buy off people, and people should sell to people that they can work with, because otherwise it's pointless. You're just going to have stress and people have a bad experience because you're not aligned. And I think that's the most important thing for me. Like, I have consultations with people. We have a good team that can help you. But it's about forming it right from the beginning and me being transparent. Like, I had someone 2 months ago. He came initially, had his visa rejected. We made a mistake on a application that his wife's visa got rejected, and it cost me about 25,000 AED just to rectify it. And I took it out of my own pocket, and I did it because for me that relationship is worth more. I might have lost a lot of money, but the very next day he referred someone to me.
That's the thing
that's the thing.
Referral business is the best marketing. You can do a good job for someone, they're always going to tell someone else.
Yeah.
And it's the cheapest form of marketing and the best form of marketing, because you get referred to someone, it hasn't cost you any extra money.
Yeah.
You've done what you're supposed to do. And when they refer to you, you're 99% supposed likely sign that.
I had someone the other day that literally was a referral, and had the meeting with him at 12 o'clock. Oh no, is it 10 o'clock in the morning? And he was 2 days later, he was in Dubai. We were picking him up from the airport, and it's been quite good. But it's a growing business. It's very fast changing here in the UAE. The accounting and etc. is very fast changing. Yeah, very dynamic. And I think the most important things I kind of did at the beginning of the business was I learned from my experiences over the last 12 years. Because the first thing I did when I was coming into this market, I knew about the market, had some experience about the market, about what was required, but I reached out to Scope, for example, and instead of me spending 2-3 days sitting there saying which software is going to be best for my clients, I picked his brain and said to him, look, what software is going to be best for my clients, what software is going to be best for me. He gave me some ideas based on what I did, and we worked with them, we partnered with them, and it's been such a nice relationship with them.
This is the thing that I feel about Dubai, is that people are willing to help you with more opportunity. Either someone's already made it, they're trying to make it, but that they're trying to achieve something. I think that's the difference that I find from the UK. That you have got you say we talk about the scammers and you have to be careful what crime going on here. But generally, the more people you speak to, everyone's receptive to networking and catching up for a Karak or going for a coffee.
The reason why it is because ultimately the people that move here, you don't get a lot of riffraff that are moving here. It's expensive to move here. It is expensive to move here. And because it's expensive to move here and crime solo whatnot, you don't get riffraff here. You get people that are dynamically thinking. And like I said to you, I'll mention Scope again because I get on really well with them, and we played paddle with Fahim the other day. But it's just been so nice having that relationship with someone. And they put on an event. Me and you, we hate networking events and accounting events. But that was actually a decent event. It was a really nice event. And because they're so supportive of you and they help you out, you want to do the same thing for them. You want to be there for them, help them out. You want to reciprocate that. And that's business though.
It's not forced networking. You have my business card, call me.
And I think it's that whole thing of, I don't know what, in the UK, when you have a business, etc., you have competition. Everything's about competition. Everything's about, oh, if you got, even though you opened a shop opposite an accountant's, but if there's an accountant's opposite, you don't open there.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you've seen, you have car places that are car, phone. But it's quite smart because if I'm going to get a car now, when I was looking for a car, I could go down one whole strip, walk into showroom, rather than going to that showroom, then go there. And ultimately, for me, it's like, if I'm helping another accountant that's moved out here, he's not taking my business. There's a lot of money in the UAE. There's loads of money in the UAE to go around, yeah? And at the end of the day, like I said before, my risk is from Allah, so it's nothing, no one's taking anything away from me. I'm not taking anything away from anyone else. I'm just there to help, and it's a good deed from my end.
No, very good, very interesting insight. And if anyone's interested about moving to Dubai, any tax issues you've got abroad, reach out to Huzefa at Evolve Tax. But Huzefa, I was trying to say thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And personally, thank you for helping me with grow Taxist and being always available for when I'm out here in Dubai. I'm doing your head in about getting my SIM card.
I think you need to thank my wife more than me.
Yeah, so thank you, and all your advice over the years, and hopefully we're trying to achieve something very similar, and you never know. But I look forward to keeping an eye on your journey, and looking forward to see you grow and seeing you turn into from a little boy into a young into a young family man. And I'm proud of that. That was part of that journey as well. So thank you for coming on.
How old was I? I was 24 when I moved here.
You was
24.
24.
24 when I moved here. Yeah.
So
Mad.
baby.
Thanks for tuning in into Karak with Kully. I hope today's chat gave you something to think about. Maybe a spark to take your own business or mindset to the next level. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who needs that push, and stay connected. And if you ever need side business advice, you know where to find me at Taxis. Until next time, keep it strong, keep it real.